Hey everyone, welcome to More Than Meets These Guys. This is a podcast that goes from the beginning of the Transformers animated series with two old friends coming at it from different perspectives. Together, we'll go episode by episode with the occasional extra to look at how the show holds up or if it's a trap of nostalgia. We'll be looking at all things involved in the episode, whether there were real world factors that crept into the writing or if the episode was typical afternoon cartoon fodder. I'm Evan, I'm a lifelong fan. I'm familiar with pretty much all aspects of the fandom and the franchise, while Ed was never really into it, even though he was aware of Transformers when he was younger. So thanks for being with us today. And Ed, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I have a guest today. This
Oh,
is
nice.
I'm dog sitting my sister-in-law's dog for the weekend, and he's very much my friend.
Nice.
His name is when she adopted him, his name was Tater Tot, which I don't like saying that. I don't even though I'm from the South, I don't like the word tater. And I don't. So she calls him Tater for short. I don't like to call him that. I call him by his proper landed nobility name of the Baron Potato von Tottenheim. So he'll be my guest
Oh,
for
it's
this
a
episode.
Baron, no
So
less. He's a
I believe there's a
fancy
German term
one.
for that, but I didn't want to butcher that. So, but he is so von Potato von Tottenheim. Um, yeah, so I have this weird work schedule right now where I'm working our European shift for a few weeks, and so I'm waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning and doing nothing because it is there's nothing going on over in Europe for us right now. Um,
Yeah.
so I started using that time to clean up my hobby area, which is also my office. This whole thing you see here, for those on the audio feed only, then imagine like a kind of a messy office. But the thing is, when you clean up like that, when you start doing those kinds of things, you make a bigger mess. So it looks like your progress is actually regression. And but I know that you mentioned that you are doing a similar thing with your Transformers.
Oh, buddy.
Tell me about this. You know,
Oh,
I hear there's
buddy.
some. I hear there's a saga.
Yeah, so I'm thankful that I'm still married today. Years ago, when I mentioned in the last episode, divorce, I put a lot of my things in storage, and it's been a saga over the years. I've gotten things out, moved things around. I actually have a old family heirloom Barnum family upright piano for it's an old circus
Ooh.
piano,
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
and that was living in a storage unit for the last 8 years. And I once I was able to shove it off on another family member, I was gladly call the rest of my stuff out of the storage. Which,
Nice.
yeah, I don't feel guilty about that at all. It feels really nice to have that weight off me for a while. And so I was able to get all the rest of my Transformers out, and it was quite a saga. Of course, it happened to be the one hot day in Florida during December. I don't know if it was one, but like we went down with that one. And there was a lot of my lovely wife who supports me, and she's been very supportive here. And she I believe the word was, I think they just multiply when we're not looking. Yeah, there's just more Transformers. There's more, and then there's more again. Um and I've used the opportunity to look around at what I have, things that don't hold a I guess an emotional attachment for me. There's things that I missed, being able to tinker with. There will be more things that grow behind me as I have them in here, because this is my office, or as the office of the house. And I'm not going to show you that side because it's a wreck. I insist on having some sort of, I don't know, controlled chaos behind me. And so that's where we're at. So yeah, man, that was we go down there. It's about 3 hours to go back to Pensacola from where I'm at now in Auburn, Alabama. And the drive it was enough. So we get there and we're like, all right, we can do this. And let me tell you, buddy, I donated a lot to Goodwill, and nothing that I wanted to keep. I was a liquor salesman in Florida, so I had a lot of liquor in the storage unit that nothing I wanted. And so I'm dumping like trash pretty much. I just we things you over the years you're like, okay, this broke down over years sitting in storage, or this was never important to me, or whatever. Start to put things in this dumpster, and feeling pretty good about it. I take a load to the Goodwill. Like, basically I had a U-Haul truck, and they're like, whoa, And so I just started handing things out to them, like old, baby clothes for my son, old, kids' toys, things like that, that, he doesn't look at anymore. Of course, kept the Legos. Hey, sorry everyone, in case there's a weird glitch in there. My MacBook decided it wanted to restart immediately in the middle of the recording. So yeah, like I said, took a big load to Goodwill, and we come back over, and we finished loading up everything in the back. The piano goes in the back there, and we're sliding everything else. And we put the rest of the trash at the end of the truck. And I'm driving the U-Haul around and getting ready to go to the dumpster at the storage place. I don't know if you say the name. And there's just this woman pulling out like liquor, and she's pulling out just odds and ends. And I pull up next to him, like, can I help you guys with anything? Like, they're like, look at me like, oh. I said, hey, if you want my old liquor, because it was like old flavored vodkas and stuff that I'm not.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not gonna name the brand either, because it was pretty bad though. It's like things we'd be given as like samples, and you're going, oh, I'm never drinking that. So
No, no.
Yeah, they opened the back of the truck and start throwing things away. Y'all got anything else in there? I said, no. It was a good time. I'm like, y'all can dumpster dive. I don't care. Enjoy, because I'm not gonna use it all anymore.
Oh.
So yeah, I go and I unload the stuff. We pack up the back of our SUV, and it's packed to the rim. And every so often, I catch my wife looking at it and like, oh, she's got the far off look, like, whew. So you okay? Oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. And we come back, and I got to finish unloading the SUV right now, because it was just last night. We got back at like 11:30 back to Auburn, and today she goes, "What would you do if we didn't have room for it?" I said, I'm trying to get rid of some of the things I don't have attachments to. She's like, "Okay, all right, because you have a lot." There's like that far off look,
Oh man.
I know, like, okay, are we past the annulment of the marriage phase? Can we go past that? Okay. It was just one of those things where, where as a collector, I mean, I've been past, post childhood, when I first had a job, I started collecting again, and I've been, collecting for about, off and on 30 years, and you accumulate a lot during that time. So,
and you never like got rid of everything. Like you've always, like, even when you've not collected, you maintained your collection, right? You never,
yeah,
I've
never
you didn't
like,
like sell everything off.
no,
I've done that. I've done that some with
yeah.
with like virtually like all my hobbies. Like I used to collect, like, I used to be a big like vinyl guy, like back in the '90s, and like I sold everything at one point, like my record player, and like all my records. I kept one.
One record, really?
Record.
Let me ask you, what is that? What one record?
What was funny is I sold everything to a friend of mine, but there's one record that is kind of a thrift store staple around here that is a gospel singer that has the same first and last name as me, and
Dude.
it's a very funny cover. And so like on the front, he's like, it's got this guy like sitting in this big wicker chair, like a Panama Jack kind of chair, but he's wearing this like early '70s leisure suit. But like on the back, it's got the same wicker chair, but like his like leisure suit coat is just like draped over it. Like, on the one hand, you can think like, oh yeah, okay, so he's just, he got up and put his but like if you think about how a lot of like those like fundamental Christian things tend to go, it's like, oh no, it's like he got called home, and like he just disappeared, and like he just left like a pile of leisure suit, like Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's like he got raptured and left his clothes there. I kept that one record. I buy records now. I don't. I have a turntable, but I rarely actually play them anymore. But I like having the artifact of like colored vinyl or picture discs or whatever. And I basically only buy those things, if it's on like cool vinyl. Like if I see a band that I really like, I'll buy a record from them. If they don't have any T-shirts that I want or something like that, I like to buy some kind of merch. But
there's a couple bands I'll buy vinyl for nowadays. But if I find a Tom Waits on vinyl, I'll grab that, or anything like that. I've shown you like we inherited a lot of like Yes albums from
Yeah.
from my ex-wife, or my wife's ex-husband. And so, which I think they're great. I will put that on and just let it play. It's just great stuff. We don't play it all the time though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's
Mm.
just it's something to have on sometimes in the background. But I mean, collecting is so funny because I mean there's silly things, you look at and you're like, I have no reason to have that, but it's just kind of cool. Like there's a Grimlock Mr. Potato Head, like a little mini one.
Oh, that's all. That's pretty awesome.
Well, it's just a silly thing I found. Like that's really cool. I don't know why I have it. I think it was like a McDonald's toy or something that someone gave me. But there's these little things that, honestly, the bigger things, the things that I have connection to, I was really glad to find them. It's like, it's right before Christmas, and it's kind of like my
Mm.
Christmas right now again. And those of us who collect, and those of us who have, we have significant others. It's nice when we find someone who sometimes begrudgingly says, "Okay, I see why this makes you happy. I'll."
Like, yeah, this is important to you, so
So
yeah,
yeah, so
so it's important to me on some level. Yeah.
yeah, and all the people listening, it's really important that we have those people who in our lives who are, who are supportive of us, and the support comes in different ways. The support can come from listening to us rant about something, can come from letting us watch something we really like, and so there are collect things we really like. So it's kind of nice going through that, do my stuff and bring a lot of it, I guess home, as it were. It was kind of nice. It was a lot of hard work, and you know, for some reason I found the hottest weekend to do this in December in Florida, but it's done, and I have everything here now. And boy, let me tell you, it's I'm trying to keep myself from going through everything and just spending all day in the office and just transforming everything. There will be more things that show up behind me, though. Trust me.
Well,
So yeah,
good luck with that, man. Good luck with that.
yeah, I
Yeah,
got to find room for it all now.
yeah, that's like, because yeah, I know that's a lot of stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, it was extremely hot here this weekend, and it's one of those things that once it's quote unquote winter in Florida, I put a hoodie, I put a hoodie on, and I basically maintain that as a suit of armor until yes,
Right there with you,
exactly.
buddy.
Right. So it's a second skin until I molt when the spring comes, and I
Yeah.
very begrudgingly take it off. But this weekend, I resigned to the fact that it's just not actually this isn't a real winter. This is a false winter, and so I ended up running around this weekend in a pair of shorts and
That's
just
one
to
better.
maintain some semblance of it being a Christmas season. And December, I wore a long sleeve T-shirt most of the weekend, just to pretend like I was still trying to keep warm. But yeah, it was pretty warm, pretty warm out there.
But so
Yeah.
yeah, so there's a lot of new Thompson Train toys and a lot of new our Matchbox and Hot Wheels at the Goodwill. So if anyone in Pensacola really likes the stuff, enjoy yourself. So anyways, so this week, man, War of the Dinobots.
War of the Dinobots. So yeah, this one, it was one of those ones that this was like out of one of the out of order ones. Is that
Yeah,
right? Like it was supposed to come earlier, right? So I did some digging on this one. This was and like a lot of other episodes of Transformers, was written by a dude named Donald F. Glut. I don't know if you know much about Donald F. Glut
I
or
don't
not, but
actually.
really interesting guy here. So he's old school. He started out in the 1950s and the 60s making amateur films, which is cool since my friends and I used to do that exact same thing back in the day. Most all of us at some point ended up working in film to some degree or the other for at various levels and various levels of success, from all the way from dabbling locally and doing videography all the way up to like directing big Hollywood films. Um, so it, making those home movies like that gave us all sort of a foundation for that kind of thing. I think that's a really cool thing. I think it's very important. The thing is that when we were doing this in the 80s and the 90s, we were using camcorders that our parents had or whatever, and which was easy because we could just grab like a VHS or a high 8 cassette or whatever format we had, and we could just film all day on those things. So you're talking like 6 hours of film, and even and if you like, oh, I don't like that anymore, I'm just gonna record over it. or God forbid you need a new tape, you got to go pay $4, and you got 6 more hours of recording there. That's great. Um, this dude, Donald F. Glut, was doing this probably on Super 8, which is a film format. It was an inexpensive film format. You get a camera for pretty cheap back in the 50s and 60s. Um, so he had to actually film this stuff, and then he had to get it developed and all the things that go along with that. And there's not a whole lot of margin for error there. You can't just back up, and you have to, anything that you want to cut out, you have to physically cut out. This is a process. That's actual filmmaking. But not only do you not know that you messed up immediately, say something's out of focus or something's out of the shot or something like that, because you don't really have a lot of instant feedback, because on those old high 8 camera or Super 8 cameras, the viewfinder was a physical thing that on the one that I had, it was built into the handle. And so you pop the handle up and you would look through the handle of the thing. So if you had it on a tripod or something like that and somebody was out of frame, then you filmed 8 minutes, then that you just wasted a reel of film. But so not only did you not have that immediate feedback, but you're paying for that mistake, and that's not cheap, especially when you're a kid. Because you have to pay for the film, and that's one use. You have to pay to get it developed, and that's and then all these things. So I have all the respect in the world for guys that did that, since they were sort of making that up as they went along. They didn't. There weren't like features like there are now where you can just watch like how they made Star Wars, or this is how we did these special effects. It was magic. Back then these guys were just like, well, I wonder if we did it like this. And but yeah, he got a lot of praise from a guy named Forrest Ackerman. Not sure if Forrest Ackerman was a guy that had a magazine called Famous Monsters of Filmland, and he covered old monster movies and sci-fi movies and that kind of thing. You may not recognize his name or the magazine's name, but you probably recognize the typeface of the logo, because the band The Misfits stole that logo for their logo.
Monster band.
Anyway, Donald Glut parlayed this whole amateur thing, because he did this for years. Like when starting as a kid, he did it into his 20s, which I think is very cool. He was working a day job, but making dumb like Spider-Man movies and with his friends in his backyard when he's like 25. But he parlayed that into a professional career, and he ended up writing a lot of comics. He wrote some issues of 70s horror comics, like those old Charlton and Creepy and Eerie and those things. Wrote some Ghost Rider. He did some backup stories in Conan.
Nice.
Wrote a ton of books, most of which are about dinosaurs, which ties in nicely to him writing this episode. And he also wrote he wrote SOS Dinobots also.
Nice.
Go ahead.
Well, side note with the Movie Monster, magazine and stuff, I actually was really, really blessed. I'll say that with no no ulterior motive. I've moderated at Pensacon about 5 different years over the years. And 1 year, I was able to moderate. Do you know who Basil Gogos is?
Don't think so. He's one of those TV hosts.
He actually, the classic Universal movie monster art. Yeah, that's him. He did all this classic Universal.
Okay.
He's this wonderful little Greek man. He's
nice.
barely spoke a bit of English, and I had this huge the room for all the people to be there. It was like one of the main ballrooms, and there was a lot of people there, but the people that were there were very devoted. They knew him. When a lot of people don't know, like, you didn't recognize his name. I wouldn't have recognized his name unless I did the research, which I did. So yeah, if you ever want to look at the classic Universal movie monster, the old Frankenstein, the old Phantom of the Opera art, Basil, sure, I'm surprised, Basil Gogos, like Gogos, great art, really cool stuff. He was such a nice man. His daughter was there helping like translate, because he was so very Greek. But
that's awesome.
It was extremely cool, man. I've been able to moderate some interview a lot of really cool people over the years there. He was one of the neatest I didn't expect. So, anyways, I'm sorry to
Yeah, that's
interrupt you.
awesome.
But
Oh no, good. Oh, so Donald Glut actually ended up going to film school eventually, and
Mhm.
was classmates with a dude named George Lucas.
And here we come.
And yeah, and so he would go on to write the novelization of The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, I've actually read that years ago.
Yeah, so have I. And then at some point he started working in television. And he wrote this episode. He wrote a lot more episodes of Transformers. He wrote some GI Joe. He did some GoBots. He did
Ah,
80s
nice.
Spider Man. Some old Captain Caveman. He worked on a lot of those like proto Toyad ones. He did a lot of those. He did Centurions.
Oh, nice.
Did some Centurions, yeah. But at some point, he started directing actual movies as well, and they all seemed like real bad, low-budget horror films. But he wrote one called "Dances with Werewolves." I'm not even making this up. And this is a fascinating guy. But if you really want a good like peek into that world, that proto like CGI like special effects world, there's a documentary series on Disney Plus right now about ILM. That is really good. Has a lot of interviews with a lot of those guys that worked on those early like special effects movies, and you know how they got the stuff together, and that's that kind of thing. And a lot of the guys they were doing the same thing that Glut was doing, where they were just they were just hobbyists that worked in their backyards, and they were like, I wonder if we could make a movie about a rocket ship, and it was them just making it look as realistic and as cool as they can. So yeah, I really like that kind of stuff. And really kind of into because it was something that I did, and uh, and yeah, I mean, I worked in film very briefly, but it's cool. It's cool seeing that kind of stuff, and so yeah.
Oh, also, things I remember really quickly before we get on the episode. Basil Gogos, he wanted to do still life, and he wanted to do these beautiful portraits of the countryside. And he doesn't understand why people like monsters so much. He was, like I said, nice little Greek man. He goes like, I don't understand why they like the monsters. They're so grotesque, but they like them, so I do them. Yeah.
That is a very common thing with older artists like that. I remember I was on a panel or something with John Romita Sr.
Mhm.
That used to work for Marvel for a really long time, and was kind of the foundation of the Marvel style. Post like Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko. He drew Spider-Man for a long time, and he
Mhm.
drew Spider-Man in the 70s and the 80s. And I've gone back recently and read some of those books, and man, he does not care one bit about drawing Spider-Man. All he wanted to do was draw like a Peter Parker going around and doing like everyday things. And this guy should have been working for like doing like some weird slice of life thing. Like, if he was born in a different generation, he'd be working for like Fantagraphics, or drawing like some sort of like Love and Rocket style comic or something
Oh
like that.
yeah,
And
indie image or
but
something.
what's that?
Indie or some image, slice of life comic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he would have been doing something like that. And but I think that's cool that he actually but what's funny is if you read those that era of Spider-Man, when you're reading it, you're going, I mean, like 10 pages of Peter Parker stuff, man, and then it's like, and then the Spider-Man stuff kicks in, and you're like, no, hurry up with this. I don't care about the
Yeah,
Green
it's not
Goblin
so
coming out here.
nice.
It's like, I want to go back to the Peter Parker talking to Mary Jane. I want to see what's going on with
I like that kind of
Peter.
stuff. That's
Yeah,
really cool.
it's very cool. So, yeah, but anyway, this episode. So we're
Yes.
episode 11, Dinobots SOS. No awkward segue this
No,
time.
no, not that's what it's not about. I was wrong.
No, that's right. No, we're
War of the Dinobots.
War of the Dinobots. War of the
Yes.
Dinobots. Yeah. So yeah.
We open to Chip
Um,
Chase, man. He is using a telescope. He's using like a deep space telescope because, of course, he is.
yeah.
Because, of course, he
Yeah.
can do everything.
First of all, my man Double C is back.
Yes.
And yeah, once again, proven he can do it all. He's now he's working in an observatory. He's the Autobot version of Soundwave.
Kind of is actually.
He
Yes.
handles everything. And we just jump right into this, and he's just
Mhm.
like, and he talks to this other guy in the lab, and they give him a name. They give him a first name, and that is the first and last you see of this other guy in the lab. He's just like. It's like, hey, Steve, there's a meteor coming towards us. Oh, man, you're right, Chip. There sure is. That's it. Gone. Like,
Call the Autobots, and that's it.
Call the Autobots. And like, dude, Spike is riding. I think he's riding in like Bumblebee or something. But dude, he's kicked back. He's chilling. It's like, dude, he looks like he's like riding the limousine to prom.
He
He's
is.
totally kicked back,
He does up the drive, man. He's hanging out in there. He's having a great time.
and he doesn't care. He straight up says, "I don't care about any meteors. I just don't want to see any Decepticons."
Yeah, there's this the point where Optimus clenches his fist. It could be a great source of power, and then it's crackling energy around his fist. Like it almost seems kind of diabolical to a callback to the last episode with Wheeljack.
He
Yeah,
does.
it's very weird. It could be a great source of power.
They show up to the observatory, and
Yeah.
immediately his solution to this whole thing is he's like, "All right, guys, transform." Once again, solving problems by transforming every time.
They do, man. Those Transformers.
Yeah.
So yeah, they show up there, man, and you know, they just kind of it kind of, you know, assume the situation. They're it's coming in. They got to go meet where it falls. But we cut back to the Decepticon base, and Megatron is watching the VHS of the battle with the from SOS Dinobots.
He's watching the Dinobots on TV, dude. But like the clip he's watching is just like this weird like 2-second loop of it's like the 30 original Dinobots, and they're just like, it's like they're dancing almost. It's like they're just bobbing their heads up and down, and like fires come out of their mouth and lightnings come out of horns and all this stuff. And dude, he just gets mad. Dude, he's so angry. He's just, turn it off. I can't watch this. And it's like his favorite football team is losing. And like, but see, like, I get that, man.
Yeah.
Because I'm a New Orleans Saints fan, and like this season, I have done that exact same thing every week. I've done that exact same thing as Megatron. So me and Megatron, we're bros at this point, because we both like both of our teams are just losing all the time.
I'm an Auburn fan, so same here, right here. Yeah, I'm more used to it than you are, but yeah.
Oh,
so
man.
There's Starscream says something about being a brilliant, the way how they're taking him out, and Megatron goes, "Brilliant, my boron compressor."
Why do they have a boron compressor?
Man, I don't know. Apparently that's the only way they can say, you know, "Brilliant, my aching butt." That's essentially what he says. You know, it's a little punch up, but he does the best thing he could possibly do. He sends out his best warrior to seek out the Dinobots' soft spots. He really made a point of saying, "So I find their soft spots, not their weak points." Yep. And so the Egyptian lover comes in.
Oh, here he comes, dude. Yes. Oh, dude, this dude is, this was so cool, dude. So he flies away.
Yeah, some Metal Gear Solid stuff going on with him,
dude. I was just about to say that. So he's creeping down this alley in this, and he's totally Solid Snake, which is my dream crossover. That's those are probably my favorite video games, and I'm here for it. He's creeping down this alleyway, and he transforms into the tape deck. He's got like a parabolic mic that creeps up on a tentacle.
Yeah,
and he's getting all the information here. So
yeah, Optimus shows up and has all three Dinobots guard the meteorite, and he talks about the meteorite is like it's beyond Autobot science. So what does he do? He shoots a piece off.
He pulls his gun out and shoots a sample off, and it just flies out. And he's like, "You guys stand back." I want to talk about this city though they're in real quick here. So they're in this city, this complete like bombed out thing. Like the entire meteor thing happened. Most of this episode happens in this city. It's like, where are they supposed to be? There's like crumbling buildings, and there's exposed rebar. And so they're either in Afghanistan or they're just in Detroit. Because like, I don't know where they're supposed to be. Like, are they in some third world country? Because there's no roads anywhere. Notice there's no roads here. It's just it's like a building that is finished but has been bombed out or is just crumbling.
You got to assume they're
dirt.
They're at least in North America because the Autobots got there kind of quickly, and he goes back and forth to them pretty quickly. So you have to assume that they're at least some North America, but there's no telling. It could be,
but where?
I don't know. It could be in Somalia for all we flipping know. I mean, that's just how it is.
It's like the remnants of Burning Man or something out here.
Burning Man were really bad, yes.
So Burning Man, yes.
Yes, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Ooh. So he basically tells the Dinobots like, "Hey guys, I need you to guard this. Could you do me that solid? Thanks a lot. And I'm like, man, the last episode that they were in, as far as the show should go, they were a nightmare. Why would you have them guard some like a unstable energy source meteorite?
They're not real good at taking orders, like, at all.
No.
And those are the last guys I would,
Yeah.
I was like, you gotta stay with me because I need to keep an eye on what you guys hey, like, Wheeljack, you stay here, or Ironhide, and the Jeep, like, you guys stay here and guard this thing.
Yeah. But they're bruisers essentially, so it's not a bad thing. But then again, like in the cab, when Chip and Spike are having a great time driving back with Optimus, he goes, you know what? I'm thinking, Spike, I'm pretty pleased with the Dinobots. I'm gonna have Wheeljack build you a couple more.
Yeah, man. So yeah, then Chip's designing these Dinobots though. Like, Wheeljack doesn't get to design these. They bring in an outside consultant.
Maybe that's better.
So yeah, he starts talking about it in a Sparkplug. Man, he got real New York City on Chip here. Like, he turned into a Sopranos character. He's, hey, Chip, look at this guy, yeah, with the words and the what's and the Tricera who's, hey.
Is there anything you don't know about Chip? He says we're all thinking the same thing. Like, what can't Chip not do?
He truly is the everyman. He is.
He is. He's the sign. He is Bill Nye, as a 16-year-old apparently. Yeah, he does everything. Best thing ever though. Next scene, after they're starting to figure out plans for the Dinobots. Cool. Next scene though, the Egyptian lover is back.
Yeah.
And he's doing something. Actually, his character, if you ever read the write-ups, like they call them the tech specs, they're basically a paragraph of information about the character. And Soundwave is kind of feared because he can tune into the sound waves of brains functioning and whatnot, and kind of like he's almost quasi-psychic. So of course he does a brain scan and figures out the Dinobots with like 3 lines of dialogue. It's like Slag wants to fight enemies. Grimlock thinks Optimus is strong, but he's stronger. And Sludge just wants to obey whoever's the strongest. So he brings back to Megatron.
These guys are just 40K, like Warhammer orcs. Straight up, they're just Warhammer orcs. They just want to fight. Like they just want to fight. And like, whoever's the biggest and the meanest, like, that dude's the leader. That's Warhammer in a nutshell.
Yeah, it's great because Megatron's like, Slag is hostile, Grimlock's arrogant, and Sludge is just stupid.
Yeah,
there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But he proves that though, because he sends the jets out, and Sludge looks up and goes, planes? Just like that.
One of them figures out they're Decepticons, so they decide to brawl with these guys, and then at some point they everything's fine. They're brothers with these guys, and Megatron shows up. Yeah, and but so then, like, the 3 jets are they decide to get the meteor and take it back because I guess they want to use this to make Energon.
Yeah, of course,
which is a very secondary plot in this episode. So they just take these cables and they transform into jet mode, and they're dragging this giant meteorite, like trying to drag it off the ground. It's like they're 3 unladen swallows carrying a coconut on a line between them.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate.
It was pretty comical because it took them a lot of energy to get this thing off the ground. They probably expended as much energon as they're actually going to produce from this thing down the line here. So
there's this great line. I want to say it's Slag when they're getting ready to take off the meteorite. He goes, "Hail him, Grimlock." I mean, hey, come on, guys. Dude. Like, planes and hail him, Grimlock.
Yeah, this guy here. So
but go back to Autobot base though.
Oh, they're finalizing they're building these new Dinobots quickly, man. They got like these cool this crane going on, and they're building these dudes, and then
This is a great scene where Sparkplug is looking at this big instruction booklet. He scratches his head. The instruction booklet says outline plan desk. Like, they couldn't put design on there all the way, so it's like desk.
Yeah, it's also backwards.
Yeah, it is. Well,
because that was on the back of the book, unless the Autobots write in Japanese. Unless the Autobots write in Japanese, like, I don't know. It's like manga. Like, yeah, he was real confused by that. I don't know why he was looking at it. I don't know what he's going to do with it. Because he turned in from to being this real smart guy that knows how to do all kinds of industrial jobs or whatever, to being like, oh, I'm just worthless when it comes to like actually building things. Like, you can mine all this stuff and you can do all these other things, but
Yeah, you can drill it, but yeah, that's it.
That's it, man. Yep. So yeah, they activate the new Dinobots, and they go through the toy ad thing where they both transform and they introduce themselves, which I love that scene.
Yeah.
But Swoop's voice though, he just comes in, I am Swoop, like he's in this proto death metal band, like he's from like Sarcophago or Venom or
Actually,
something
does sound
like
like that,
this.
doesn't
And
he?
he did, yeah.
Yeah.
You could just transplant that dude's voice onto anyone from Sweden. You could
Oh yeah,
he could
some
sing for like, yeah, he could sing for like
Swedish black,
vampire.
some death metal.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah,
But then
and
they start sparring at this point. They go into
well,
like they're just like, all right, let's all fight. Let's just see how everybody fights. And Autobots are real excited to the cars are. Oh, I get to fight.
go all out.
I get to fight.
They go at him hard, and the Dinobots, just the two new Dinobots, Swoop and Snarl, pretty much
Snarl.
off the floor with them.
Yeah,
Trying.
yeah. Swoop is kind of he's cool, but I like this guy.
Yeah.
I had that. That is one of the very few Transformers I owned as a child. And also I was a big fan of pterodactyls, pteranodons, flying dinosaurs. I'm a fan of these guys. I think most kids are. And he's cool. I like him a lot. And he looks real cool. And he was from what I recall from being a kid, he looked real cool. The toy was actually a really good transforming guy from what I remember.
Yeah.
He was no tracks, but he was pretty cool.
I haven't found mine yet. I'm digging through my stuff. I would have him out to show you.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, very cool. So yeah, they basically they beat up on him, and it just doesn't work out really well. But back to the where the meteorite was, Optimus Prime goes by himself to check on the Dinobots.
Yeah.
He shows up, he's like, where's the meteorite? Where are the Dinobots? And Slag just opens fire on him. And they start going at it. And he holds his own pretty well for a while. He freaking grabs a brick wall outside of a house, throws it on Slag.
It doesn't even fall apart. He throws the whole brick wall. So Optimus Prime, he has like these ear things on his head, right? Like on the sides of his head.
Yeah.
But when he's trying to call the base, and when he does, he has like these little antennas pop out. These little, it's like an old like cell phone antenna comes up out of his, like an old Nokia antenna comes up out of his ears. But
Pulls it out, yeah.
Yeah, man. You get the signal, right? You get more bars. Slag sounds just like Solomon Grundy from the Super
He does.
Which is cool because I always like Solomon Grundy. Another big dumb guy that like smash things.
Yeah.
Yeah, through the whole brick wall, it didn't fall apart. That was some good mortar. I don't know what they're making. I don't know what bombed out city this is, but yeah, man.
Yeah, it took a while to get through it, I guess. So yeah, there's a big fight. He holds his own for a while, but eventually, they defeat him. Some Sludge makes a crevice in the ground, and they beat him down in there.
Yeah.
And they're all down looking at him. He's like, "Is he dead?" He just pulls an arm up. He's like, "No, he's not dead yet." And they were getting ready. Slag is getting ready to shoot him, kill him. He's like, "No." Grimlock stops him. He says, "Why'd you stop me?" He's like, look. I pretty much respect his strength, so let's help him out." And then he takes him to Megatron, which there we go. That's the whole thing of the episode. And the best part about that is Megatron doesn't want Optimus. He's like, "Why didn't you kill him?"
Yeah, it's like, like why is this guy so functional? He wasn't real happy about this at all. So the Dinobots have this thing that I think is hilarious, where like they understand the concept of pronouns, and they use pronouns, but they have to clarify each pronoun after they use it. So they can't, every time that Grimlock will refer to himself, he refers to himself as me, Grimlock. But if he refers to someone else, it's like, no, you, Optimus Prime. He has to use both and clarify every time.
I cannot wait until we get to a plague of Insecticons, because you're gonna lose your.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
That's gonna be fun. Yeah, but yeah, you're completely right. They they don't understand vowels. They don't understand, it's just like they talk like cavemen still. They talk,
Right.
you
But
know,
it's weird because it's almost like I feel like I don't know that's kind of a weird thing where you use the pronoun and the proper noun as well instead of just doing like one or the other. Like, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's funny that they take off and fly in robot mode,
oh yes.
which again, that's okay, that's fine. But something funny about this part was I don't know why I found this so humorous, but like, so Grimlock took Optimus Prime's gun and he just like tucked it under his arm, and he's like, and it's there for a while. Like
Yeah.
it's he flies around with this giant like Autobot rifle, which is like canonically the second most powerful weapon in the Autobots armory, next to I can't remember who it was. Who was it that had that super powerful cannon in like 4 episodes ago?
Oh God.
I don't remember. I don't. It's that's irrelevant. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So yeah, so they drag Optimus Prime up in front of Megatron. He's not happy, but then Optimus Prime starts trying to warn Megatron about the meteor, that the meteor is going to blow up. Like he's trying to save Megatron at this point.
Yeah.
Like it's going to blow up anyway. He's not telling him to stop it. He's just like, hey, save yourself and get away. Like, why? Like,
It's the whole thing with the hero. He wants to defeat Megatron, but he doesn't want Megatron to, I guess, be defeated by sheer stupidity. He wants him to, I guess, fall in battle or something. I don't know. Maybe he thinks he can reach out to him still and still, come to terms with Megatron. I don't know. But the thing is, Starscream is like, he's also trying to tell him. And, as you'll see in episode Fire in the Sky, when we go to that one, that's Skyfire's episode. Starscream, he used to be a scientist. Canonically,
Starscream?
yes,
Oh,
yes.
really?
He was a scientist. He was an explorer and stuff like that. So he shows like Starscream's like, look, it's gonna blow up. I'm trying to tell you that it's a bad idea to sit there and drill it. He's basically he's polishing off his old scientist chops here and trying to say it's unstable. I'm sorry, unstable, instability. I got a little twisted there. But Optimus, yeah, he does the same thing. But Megatron doesn't believe either of them until it's too late.
Until it's too late. Until it's too late. Yeah.
But before that, though, Swoop and Snarl show up, which I don't understand this. They both fly off separately. And when they show up, Swoop's holding Snarl like he like ran out of gas or something in the air and dropped on the ground.
Yeah, that was weird. But before this, at the Ark, Wheeljack is just watching the meteorite on TV. He just has he just has a channel tuned into the meteorite. But somehow, so Spike was like, "Oh, we got to get there," and but he's like, "Oh, we're not fast enough to get there. We can't get there. We're not fast enough. But I know who is the Dinobots."
Yeah.
Like, okay, I want a robot dinosaur that's going to be faster than a robot that can turn into a race car.
Because
like a legitimate race car. Well, the Autobots can fly. Besides, what about Skyfire? Skyfire's made
He's
for
not
this.
here yet.
He's oh my god.
You got to remember, man. They should.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So okay. I think maybe the next episode it might be. I'll check it, but Fire in the Sky comes soon. So they don't have Space Taxi yet.
Okay.
Oh, he was in Ultimate Doom. He's not in the show yet.
Because Ultimate Doom should come after that.
Yeah, it should have been like a season finale kind of thing.
Okay.
But yeah, so yeah, and anyways, yeah, so they're the only Autobots there who can fly, because Autobots apparently all forgot how to fly at the end of the opening episodes. So yeah, they get there, and they don't even tell them like we have a couple who can. They don't even say, "Hey, Dinobots, go help out." They take off. They're like, "All right, we understand it. We got the hint. Bye." Fly off.
But so they show up, but dude, Grimlock goes back to the tactic of biting the wings.
He does.
He bites. The wing biting is. Dude, that's where it's at, and I'm telling you, that's the power move.
It's like a Godzilla move.
It really is.
It really is. Like, think of like Godzilla fighting like any of the flying kaijus. Big flying. He would.
Oh, he's gonna Rodan or Mothra. He's gonna bite those wings.
All right. So basically, the Swoop and Snarl show up, and they're really, I mean, they're kind of mopping the floor with them for a few minutes, and then
And then
so, like the wing bite thing, it was is Grimlock's go-to though.
Yeah, they kind of got yeah, I mean they kind of, I don't know. It's like they showed up for a couple minutes and then they got kind of taken out. It was like it's like in like when you're watching wrestling and
Yeah.
like they have like at the Royal Rumble, you have like halfway through like one guy comes in, you're like, oh man, oh yeah, this is rad. Here comes Tito Santana. And he comes in and then like he just cleans house for like 45 seconds. And you're like, oh, but Tito's awesome. And then like like Greg the Hammer Valentine just tosses him out. That's kind of what it was like.
Yeah, actually, there's this troop in the actually they did really bad in Beast Wars Transformers where the new character would come in and they would be able to beat everyone and the episode would end and they all go do a thing. So yeah, they're like the new characters and they do well for a few minutes and then it just kind of evens out. But the whole clincher here, man, the meteorite is going up. Starscream goes to Megatron. See, it's going, and Megatron and him fly off. And Optimus Prime, being the noble leader that he is, jumps and basically tries to cover up Grimlock. Like he's jumping on a grenade pretty much for Grimlock, even though Grimlock can take the blast. He's not going to get hurt. And the whole thing comes in. Grimlock's like, "Hey guys, Optimus Prime's tougher. He risked his life for us." And then he kind of says, "Hey, look, Optimus, I'm sorry. Shake hands. We good?" And that was
like, yeah, we're good.
It's kind of the end of the episode. You're like, hey,
yeah. Megatron. That was a part where Megatron was screaming orders, and he was doing a Sieg Heil. The way he was animated, like as he was giving a Sieg Heil off the screen. That was funny. But yeah, Grimlock was just real impressed by the sacrifice, and so this dude has switched sides 4 times since he's debuted at this point. Like, probably more. Technically, I guess more. And then he just admits he's like, man, OP, I'm real sorry, man. Grimlock was just real jealous. He's like, sorry, Grimlock was jealous. that was it.
Talking the third person now.
That was what was wrong. That was what was wrong with you. Me, Grimlock was jealous. Like jealous of his strength, I guess was what he was jealous of. But it was just real, like I don't know, man. It just kind of came out of. This one ended extremely abruptly.
Oh yeah.
Like we didn't even get like a like Spike doing like a freeze frame like haha and then it freezes and he drives off and like jazz or something like that. Yeah.
There was this whole they'll shake hands like they made up at the playground. They said sorry and they shook hands and all right, that's it.
Yeah, I guess we're going back to the arc now. Yeah, this was a weird one, man. The entire episode seemed like just a vehicle to introduce the 2 other Dinobots.
Oh, it was completely.
Yeah, but I'm not entirely sure why they were staggered like this. I don't know or why they didn't just drop them all at the same time. Since I think that all the toys came out at the same time. I think that all 5 of them were released at the same time, right?
Yeah, they were.
The thing was, though, I didn't feel like they did terribly much. They showed up and they transformed and they said their names and then they had that quick battle and then they got tossed out of the Royal Rumble real quick. The Swoop looked real cool and all that, but he just sort of gotten taken out. And the main story here was more like Grimlock switching sides and finally coming to respect Optimus Prime as the leader. Like that was the main thrust of the story. But we did have some cool toy ads. A ton of fights in this one. It was just like everybody's fighting. Everybody's fighting in this one.
It was a Royal Rumble, man.
Yeah. And, tons of fights. We get a cool third world city that was all bombed out and some Metal Gear Solid style sneaking around. And so Kid Brain here is gonna go. Kid Brain's going to be real generous because it was just like I got new Dinobots. I got a giant brawl. I got all this cool stuff. Kid Brain's going to go 3.5 cardboard boxes for sneaking around out of 5. Adult Brain's going to have to go 2, man, because this is, to be honest, man, this is probably the least entertaining episode we've watched so far. And by that, I don't mean that like. I mean that in a way that like even the ones that are bad that we've watched previously, the
Yeah.
ones that are just like, ooh man, that was just not a good episode. At least they're funny,
Yeah.
or they have something that you can go, what about that? What about this thing? You can do that with most of these episodes, but this one was just sort of there. It was just sort of like
Yeah.
it was just like a real just by the numbers. Like we're gonna introduce these characters. Like there wasn't even like any animation flops for me to make fun of, and
Yeah, not really.
and it was like I don't know, like I mean, Soundwave did some cool stuff in it,
It's well
but I mean,
animated. Dang.
yeah, oh, yeah, I don't, yeah, come on, man, you guys got to give me some comedy fodder here, man. I don't know, like
Right.
this, but yeah, I mean, it like I said, it wasn't bad. It was just kind of okay.
Yeah.
That was good. Yeah, that was what like during this one. If I was a kid watching this, I probably would have been playing with my Transformers while I was watching this. Um, like I,
We,
like it basically kind of would have kind of become like background.
you mean like I was
Thing or
doing?
something.
Yeah.
You were probably playing with him while you were watching it this time, weren't you?
Yeah.
I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah.
Playing with that giant dude behind you back there, whoever that guy is.
It's
Who's that guy
it's
was
Black Zarak.
Black Zarak.
Japanese series baddie guy.
Oh,
Yeah, he's from Master Force. He's a
oh,
giant black, red, and gold scorpion.
uh,
And
uh,
basically undead big leader guy. Anyways, so yeah,
that's pretty cool. I didn't know that Black Zarek was actually like a dude. I thought
yeah,
that
well,
I was like just a guy that posts on message boards,
yeah,
like
yeah,
a real cool guy. He's a real cool guy
yeah,
that posts on message boards.
yeah,
I like seeing his stuff, but
yeah,
I didn't know that was a real character. I was
yeah.
that's awesome.
He's a real
Okay.
character. But yeah, the dude on there, Black Zarek, he's one of my oldest friends online. He's
Oh,
very knowledgeable. He's a very nice guy.
oh, right on.
So yeah, anyways, that's what that is behind me. Next to him's Star Saber and so on. But that's a whole other episode.
No.
But yeah,
So
so
yeah, what did you think?
uh man, I'll tell you, it was a funny episode. I loved how blunt Megatron was, and Sludge is just stupid. But really, man, it was just an episode to introduce a couple more characters they should have introduced during SOS Dinobots. You're completely right. But it's also one of those episodes that I really like because Snarl and Swoop are my two favorite of the Dinobots. Snarl is one I always really liked a lot.
Mhm.
So yeah, so really, I guess the Autobots are really getting really good about assembling Dinobots now. They're churning them out, man. But I'd like to say I give this a higher rating, but I gotta agree with you, man. I will give it two unstable meteorites that are just MacGuffins of the episodes out of five. It's nothing wrong with it. It was just a fun episode, but it was there to introduce character. And it was kind of a shame because the other episodes like Fire in the Sky, when we get to Fire in the Sky, are also episodes to introduce characters, but you actually give some character development. Here, I mean, the character development you got was Grimlock saying like, he's arrogant and
Yeah,
slapping.
I mean, he finally came kind of. I feel like he kind of came around to Optimus Prime as being the leader because we had a real problem with that in the last one. So I mean, there was a little character development. I just didn't think it
Yeah,
was.
it's kind of like
It all seemed real kind of in the background, but
yeah, it's
I
kind of
mean,
like
like I
showing
said,
up Optimus Prime as the alpha of the group. He's the strongest. He'll be a leader, I guess. But Grimlock also he's a leader of that little faction of Autobots. He's the leader of
right.
the Dinobots. So Slag and Sludge look up to him completely.
Mm-hmm.
So he says, "Well, Optimus is stronger than I am." Like, all right, fine, we'll follow him then. So in a way, I guess it was kind of development, but yeah, it really. Besides that, nothing really happened. So yeah, two. I mean, two's pretty generous. I think. I'm saving one for some really really bad ones we got coming up in season 2 and then season 3. So that's going to be those are going to be special episodes. So yeah, two's pretty much what I would go with here as well, man. And I got, by the way, I wanted to say I got an email back from Tim. I can send it to you. Whose email I read last week.
Oh yeah,
He's talking about his friend Chuck would have really liked our show and he appreciated reading the email. So it was really cool. I'm really enjoying
awesome.
starting to interact with the people who are listening to us, and I'll tell you, guys, girls, and everyone in between. If you are enjoying this, and you know people who would enjoy it also, please, I mean, if you wouldn't mind, send them a link, text them a link on Facebook Messenger, Discord, or whatever you want to do. I'll tell you, promoting a podcast, especially one like us, is really small, is really tough. I'm out there like slinging links everywhere I can go to of people who will let me, and trying to garner up listenership, because I personally want to build a community. I know Ed does too. He's enjoying the community that's building. And it's, if you like us, if you want to come back and listen every week, but someone else who might like it, an old friend from back home where you grew up or whatever, send the link. Y'all can talk about it. We'd like to build a community. um Speaking of that, the Discord link I always put in the show notes. I'm learning how to use Discord. I should have asked my stepdaughter how to use it correctly, because I was informed by Black Zurich actually that you can create a permanent link for Discord. Apparently, the link I had on there was a temporary link, so I edited all the other show notes, but a
Okay,
permanent.
I'm gonna tell you straight up that nothing in the world makes me feel like an old like
Yeah.
Discord. I cannot I would be in there and chatting every day, but I feel like a 70-year-old accountant that constantly forgets his password, and I
Yeah,
can never stay logged in. And once I get logged in, I can't figure out how to navigate through those things. So so if it's one of those things that if you ever message me on Discord, I don't respond. It's not because I'm ignoring you; it's because I don't know how. So send me an electronic mail. So yeah, you can reach me personally at hatestransformers@gmail.com.
And more than Mises guys at gmail.com. The Twitter is mtmtg pod.
You can search for us on Facebook. Also, there's a
Oh, yeah.
Facebook page that I try to keep updated with every episode. And yeah, you can communicate there.
Yeah.
Any of those methods. You can write us a letter if you want to. Also,
Yeah. If you really want to write us a handwritten letter, get a hold of me, and I will give you addresses. But I mean, honestly,
that'd be real cool if you did.
yeah.
But yeah, man.
Email us. We'd love to hear from you guys, and girls and bots and whoever else in between. It's really cool. It makes us feel like we're not screaming to the void, but I do this anyways, even if we're screaming to the void, because I get to hang out with one of my old friends every week, which is really cool.
Every week.
And
it's awesome.
yeah, and like honestly, people tell us it's kind of why they enjoy the show, because it's like kind of hanging out with a couple friends talking about episodes, and it's a little slice of life for us. And anyways, yeah. So that said, Ed, you want to take us out with anything this week?
Yeah, this is a two-part quote today.
Yes.
Character A: you're either lying or you're stupid. Character B: I'm stupid. I'm stupid.
Where's that from, dude? I know that somewhere.
That's Megatron and Starscream from one called Triple Takeover.
Oh god, that's a great episode too. That's gonna be season 2.
Oh yeah, I hope that it involves one of the guys that turns into 3 things.
No, well, yeah, yes, actually, it's 2 of them.
It does. Cool.
Yeah. And that I'm stupid is Starscream pleading to not be killed. So yeah, we'll get there.
Oh, okay. I think one of those guys is called Blitzwing. I
Yes.
think, right? Okay.
Blitzwing and then Master Train.
That is right. Yeah, I remember Astro Train. Astro Train. When I was, I remember one year for Easter, my grandma got me a instead of an Easter basket, she got me an Easter trucker hat with Astro Train on it and with a full of candy. Yeah, it was real weird. I don't know why she decided to pick that out. It was, it was pretty cool.
Cool.
And yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here again this week, and I look forward to it. And by the way, I broke 800 downloads this past week, so big thanks there. I guess it's getting out there and people are listening, so that's really cool. So thanks so much for being here, and check us out on YouTube. If you are listening to this, I'm gonna have the YouTube link in the show notes also, but also you can just search More Than Meets These Guys, and we'll be there. All right, y'all take it easy. Thanks so much for being here. See ya.